Hello and welcome to this edition of the Rocky Mount Area Chamber Buzz. My name is David Joyner. I am the Vice Chairman of Economic Development for the Rocky Mount Chamber of Commerce. This broadcast is brought to you by our Chairman and our sponsor, Mr. Roger G. Taylor with Roger G. Taylor and Associates. I work with the Doubletree by Hilton, Comfort Inn by Choice, and the Gateway Convention Center. We have an exciting show for you today, talking about trash, something very important to deal with in our community and across the state. I am fortunate to be joined with Councilman Chris Miller and Mr. Tim Dunton, a local businessman who is the owner of Carolina Tire Company. We're going to be talking about the Community Anti-Coalition. The Community Anti-Litter Coalition. We were going over that. I messed it up. So sorry. And the Twin Counties Big Sweep that the two of you are involved in. And I'm going to let you, Ms. Miller, start and kind of give us a history and an introduction and to this group.
Sure. Well, I'll wait till a little later to talk about the history because we've had two previous drives of this sort about 10 years apart. But this initiative began when Tim contacted me several months ago, and my husband and I had been customers of Tim's business for years.
I read that in the paper.
Right. So when he called, he just said he wanted to talk. When we got together, the issue on his mind was all the trash in the community along the route that he takes in from his residence, which is out of the city limits, and also particularly along 301, where his business is located. And so we got together. He came with several pages of notes. He had put a lot of thought into this, and had even designed a anti-litter kind of sticker.
Wow.
And was proposing a competition, and he was going to contribute money and solicit other businesses to get involved.
And tell him why. What moved you to do this? Obviously, other than it being horrible.
A couple of big things to begin with. I just don't like litter.
Absolutely.
I think it's disgusting. Another thing is it seems to be getting a lot worse in this area. Everywhere you look, it's bottles, cans, paper bags, all sorts of stuff. But also, one big thing is Fountain Correctional Facility closed down the first of this year. Well, the ladies there did a really good job of cleaning up a lot of the area. They would go out on a regular basis and have a whole army of them out there cleaning up litter.
For a long time.
Well, when I realized that they were leaving, I'm thinking, wow, litter's bad enough with them out here cleaning things up. What's it going to be like when they're gone? We need to come up with something to compensate for them not cleaning up.
Absolutely. Well, and just for our viewers who don't know, you meant Fountain, the women's prison that was closed when the state reorganized a bunch of the prisons.
Right.
And to your point, they had been doing a good job of keeping the litter clean. And so this kind of moved you because you not only don't like trash, but it also it makes a view of our community not be what we would like for it to be to visitors and to residents.
That's right.
Exactly.
And to elaborate on Tim's point about the prisoners, our KAB coordinator, Cornelia McGee, was able to contact the prison and let them know which areas had particular need of it. So it was something we were able to work with them. They didn't just randomly decide on a day, where they would go out and pick up, but it was a planned approach.
So it was a proactive part on the local community here. And then too, also just to add to that, the DOT has also just due through the budget constraints had to cut back on even the mowing and the cleanup that they do as well.
That's right.
So Tim, once you were moved to do this, tell me what happened next when you and Councilman Miller got together.
Well, I just contacted Chris to see if I was the only one that was concerned about what I felt like was an increasing problem. And so she let me know that she had heard similar things from other people. So she gets a bunch of people together from various groups to put our heads together and see what we can come up with to try to combat this problem. And she contacted people from several different organizations, and the people she contacted have really taken an interest and been very proactive, and I think we might be able to make a dent in the litter problem.
Absolutely. And your hope is this isn't just a one-time thing, that this kind of educates the public as well as to continually do this, correct?
Well, I don't see the problem of litter going away. We're going to have to fight it. We're going to have to come up with some way to it's just going to keep getting even worse than it is now if we don't do something.
And before we go on into the actual the big sweep, do you think there's a problem of we need more increased enforcement as well as because we do get a lot of traffic through here. It may not also just be our citizens, doing it. We are fortunate in the fact we get a lot of traffic through Rocky Mount.
Well, there are a lot of contributing factors. I mean, trash blows out of the back of people's pickup trucks. So if you lower your windows to keep the air conditioning off, things can blow out of the back seat of your car. And then, of course, people pull up to curbs and empty their trash, a cigarette holder, and all those butts are left on the corners. Anytime people slow down or stop for a traffic light, they tend to remove the litter in the car. Where if they would just have a litter bag inside and put it in that, our streets and highways would look a whole lot better. But to me, it is a matter of pride.
Absolutely.
Pride in your home. It's just, hopefully you wouldn't trash your own residence and front yard, and we should think of our city the same way. It is our home, our front yard, our streets.
Well, not to mention he does business here, as does a lot of people,
That's right.
and the curb appeal and all that affects traffic coming in and out of businesses. If you go into an area and it looks trashed, just through human nature, you're not necessarily going to pick that as your number one option when you have other choices. So you two met. You rallied the troops, and what happened?
Well, the people that I've helped to get together are folks that I knew cared about the litter issue and had been involved in previous campaigns. And this issue does wax and wane, like
Absolutely.
anything. And people come forward when they are rallied and they work on it for a while, and then the flood comes or some other big thing happens that diverts them to another issue. So would you like to know the names of some of the organizations?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to.
Well, of course, I was going to involve Cornelia, and I can't go to any city employee and just ask them to do something. I go through the city manager, and so I contacted him, and of course, he goes then to Jonathan Boone, who heads up Public Works, and Cornelia reports to Jonathan.
Okay.
And so that got them involved, and the assistant city manager, Tom Moten, is the one to whom Jonathan reports. So Tom Moten and Jonathan and Cornelia have all been attending our meetings, and we've met at least monthly, but for the last couple of months we've been meeting weekly to strategize and to rally the troops and come up with the resources we need. But other folks are, Bobby Booth, who worked for the chamber and is now with WHIG, that's always been a real sore point with her, the litter in the community. And so she was able to attend some of our meetings. And the manager at Abbott and Cummins are both concerned about this issue and have offered their resources and their workers who will do it on their, on their work schedule,
Absolutely.
Not on the weekend.
You said Abbott, did you mean?
Yes,
when
we started this, it was
That's how long this has been going on.
That's right.
Abbott to Hospira and now Pfizer.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
right. So, let's see.
So you have a broad,
Yes, and Mark
diverse
Wilson with the Telegram.
Okay.
And Gus Tullis with our
With us,
DOT representative,
the Open
right?
Insurance Company.
Sheila Martin, the Dunn Center director.
Absolutely.
Who else am I?
With Nash County
and so-
Government Tourism, Alice
right.
Bonsek.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now the group has met and you have come up with the Twin Counties Big Sweep.
Well, the Twin County Big Sweep has been going on for years,
Okay.
and it was originally the North Carolina Big Sweep.
Okay.
But because of the state's reduction in services, because of the reduction in taxes, then that effort has been abandoned, but we're continuing that at the local level.
Okay.
It's the Twin Counties Big Sweep.
Okay.
And there are two, a spring and a fall effort to really focus on the litter and getting it cleaned up. But the next question was?
So the fall effort is what's coming up.
That's right.
Okay.
And
See, the big sweep goes on for a month.
Okay.
The challenge we have put together is a one-day event, October 3rd.
Okay.
Where we're offering prize money for picking up the most litter. We've got 4 different categories, up to $750.
Wow.
We're trying to get organizations like civic clubs, church
To
groups
partner with you.
to get together to pick up litter, and they will be a group, and hopefully their group could win up to $750 to go into,
Wow.
whatever they want to use the funds for.
Well, and thank you, because I think a lot of people don't know that this has been going on for years and didn't understand that this isn't just a one-off. And so thank you both for educating me on that and our viewers. And then also, when we come back from the break, we'll talk about the actual fall event coming up and all the work and how people can get involved.
Very good.
So we'll be right back after this break with Councilman Chris Miller and Mr. Tim Dutton. Welcome back to this edition of the Rocky Mount Area Chamber Buzz. I again am David Joyner, the Vice Chairman of Economic Development for the Rocky Mountain Chamber. I am joined here with Councilman Chris Miller and Mr. Tim Dutton, who is the owner of Carolina Tire Company and a great citizen of Rocky Mount, who really has been pushing an effort to make sure that we keep our city as beautiful and as vibrant as it should be. We're talking about the Twin Counties Big Sweep Challenge. Right.
Exactly.
That particular competition is on October 3rd.
Right.
Saturday the 3rd.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Well, Chris probably knows a little more about it than I do, but anyone is welcome to come out. The sign up, I believe, is about 8 a.m. However, you do have to pre-register to be eligible to win the cash prizes.
And how do they do that?
To call Cornelia McGee, our KEB coordinator, and her phone number is 252-467-4960.
252-467-4960.
Correct. And the deadline for that is the 28th
to register
for the cash awards.
Okay.
Right. And the reason we need people to pre-register is because when you're drawing together all this many people, you need to be sure you have adequate supplies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
you want to have enough trash bags,
right,
vests,
gloves, and all that sort of thing.
That day we're going to have pizza at the end of the event, refreshments.
Yeah, tell me about the event. Like, what can people expect who want to get involved in it? Because this not only sounds like a great event for adults, but it sounds like a great event to bring a lot of young people, to bring the kids out, the church out, the civic clubs. This is where you can really be a part of something.
Right, and you can. The KEB will have a list of sites that particularly need cleaning up, and you can choose from among those. But if there's a site that you want to volunteer for, you can certainly do that. But keep in mind, if you're trying to compete for the money, it needs to be a large enough area and heavily littered enough that you would get the pounds.
So if you're trying to compete, you need to do a lot of work. You can't.
That's right. No,
you can't pick the cleanest part of town.
But there will be recognition for all those organizations that sign up, and there will, for the sponsors of various things that we're having that day, there will be a banner. And you can bring your company banner so that you get that publicity.
Absolutely. What's the time frame that day?
8 o'clock in the morning.
To
noontime, I believe. Right, because
so from 8 a.m. to noon.
Right, and then of course when everybody gets down there at noon or before noon, if you finish, then all that will have to be tallied, the bags weighed or counted, and that tallied to know who the winner is, and we hope to recognize the winners that day. And we hope to have the media there and have some live coverage.
That'd be great.
Anyone who wants to participate, you can go out and clean up roadsides or parks, Battle Park, City Lake Park, anywhere in the city you want you see litter that you want to pick up would be very helpful.
Okay, and so just to go over again for the viewer, that's October the 3rd is the actual Twin Counties Big Sweep Challenge. It'll run from 8 a.m. to noon. They need to pre-register with Cornelia McGee at the City of Rocky Mount.
And you can go to their website and print out the form to fill out and fax in or hand deliver or mail.
And the last day for registering?
They need to pre-register by the 28th to be eligible for the cash prizes. There's 4 categories of cash prizes ranging from $150 to $750, right?
And that, the categories for the most weight and the most unique item.
The most unusual object, the heaviest object.
So this will be a fun event.
We certainly plan to. Anytime you get together with a group of people to work on a common cause, you always have fun and you make new friends, and it's just a great opportunity.
And you can show up that morning. You just are not eligible for the cash prizes unless you pre-register by the 28th, but you can show up on the 3rd and go out and
we're not going to turn away anybody who wants to come help. and volunteer. And so, again, they need to pre-register by the 28th. It's on October the 3rd. It'll run from 8 a.m. to noon. They can go to the city's website and contact Cornelia and Anthony McGee in the Public Works Department.
That's right.
To pre-register.
And that's also where you would go that day, in her office on Thorpe Road, just slightly to the left of the Y.
Oh, absolutely.
Pick up your bags.
That's where you go, because at the hotel, at the Doubletree and Comfort, we did a big kind of a cleanup around where the highway is, near 64, and we registered through the city and got the material. So the place near the Y is where
That's
you
right.
can post that. Okay.
And of course, there's several reasons why we need to keep working on this project. I mean,
Absolutely.
our surroundings affect people's behavior, and so if
Absolutely.
they see a messy, littered place, it makes them more likely to break the law and that kind of thing. It's just depressing.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to attract industry here,
Which
it
we are.
reflects that exactly. And jobs. I mean, everybody says they want jobs, so we need to make our community look like we care about it.
Absolutely. And a point I'll make, the great thing about the two of you with this is how this process is supposed to work. This is why we have council people. This is why we have a democracy. Because the one thing I always point out to people is when you look on the city's website or on a state government website, or on a federal government website, at the top of that hierarchy list is the people. We're quick to pass that buck when it suits us, but we elect people who we are supposed to hold accountable. But what's so great about what you did as a local citizen and a local community person, rather than get on Facebook or social media and complain and bash, you said, I'm going to take responsibility, take ownership, and do something about it, and you contacted your councilwoman, and I just want to congratulate the two of you, but I hope everyone uses this as an example. It's not that hard. Sometimes just to pick up the phone and make a connection and try to do things the right way.
And if there's some issue, any kind of issue around the city that you think particularly the city needs to be doing something about, calling in to speak up doesn't get that request to somebody.
Absolutely.
I mean, it may make you feel better to vent, but if you call the city manager's office or the city clerk, they will take your request and get it to the proper folks and even get back to you with a response.
Absolutely.
And that's how you get things done, not complaining in the
That's what Mr. Dutton
newspaper.
did.
He did.
He did, and I think that's a great thing that was made me the most excited about this. This was a citizen who did what citizens are supposed to do, and he wasn't looking for, a compliment or to be patted on the back. He was tired of seeing trash in his community and outside of his business.
Well, anyone else who has similar concerns, there's a variety of things they could do. There's a couple of street adoption programs, one through the State Department of Transportation and one through the city. The city calls theirs the Adopt a Spot, where you can adopt part of a park or a whole park or a couple of blocks in your neighborhood or whatever, and become responsible for keeping the trash cleaned up there. Well, if we had more people doing that, we would have less of a litter problem. And the way I see it, the more litter you have, the more litter you get.
Absolutely.
Like the
Because
broken windows.
If you're on a stretch of road where there's no litter, I believe people are much less likely to toss a bottle out the window. On the other hand, if you're on a stretch of road that's full of litter, well, what's one more bottle going to hurt?
Absolutely.
So if we can come up with the ways and means to try and get it clean and stay on top of keeping it clean, I think we'd have a whole lot less litter, a lot less litter to have to keep clean.
Absolutely. Well, and the bigger point too is that we are aggressively trying to recruit industry. We are aggressively trying to recruit new small businesses. We are aggressively trying to recruit people to live in the area.
And grow tourism.
And grow tourism, which we are fortunate, just by location, the amount of traffic we get, and we've been doing a lot of different things to continue that. But, the curb appeal matters. And when you drive in a community, what you see, just like if someone walks in your home, what you see, and Dad always say you got to have your house in order. And it sounds like, the two of you and a local citizen spoke up and wanted to have the house in order, but it's giving everybody the opportunity to be a part of it, and not just that day beyond this, correct?
Well, the real root of the problem is not everybody looks at it that way. Some
Yeah.
people just don't care.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Litter
right.
doesn't bother some people. They don't worry about it, so they're careless and they just toss it out the window. So the people who are concerned and who do care need to do something about it to try to keep it under control.
Well, and it makes me think of one of my favorite quotes, that any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do.
I like that.
So I just, before we wrap up, I want to go over the day again that everybody can get involved in, and that is
The big challenge is October 3rd. The deadline for signing up for that, for the prizes and so forth, is September the 28th.
Okay.
The number to call is Cornelia Anthony McGee at the KAB office. That is 252-467-4960.
Okay, and Edward and WHIG will make sure that gets up on the screen. Can you say that number one more time?
252-467-4960.
Well, and again, I want to personally thank the two of you for your leadership on this, and I hope I'm extremely optimistic that there's going to be a huge crowd out there that day. And again, this is just another example of how the process works.
And we look forward to seeing you out there that day.
I will be out there, I promise. I've said it on camera. But just thank you sincerely for your work, and thank you as a local business owner for not standing on the sidelines.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
And again, please, do your part to get involved in this. Contact the city of Rocky Mount, and I hope everyone learned from this example that when you see a problem, you can answer the problem or you can complain about the problem. We can get to who's to blame. We always have time to work that out. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, this is a great example of picking up the phone, calling your local council person or whomever you need to contact. And we're excited about this event, and we're looking forward to this being something that becomes systematic in the mentality of the people here.
Amen.
On behalf of the Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And again, remember, this is your opportunity to get involved in all the positive things that are going on in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Thank you to our sponsor, Mr. Roger G. Taylor with Roger G. Taylor and Associates. And remember, we have some exciting things happening in Rocky Mount, and here's to success.